OnSight.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome again to the OnSight podcast. Tune in today. I am Antrell, joined with me, my big homie Domonic, Kash. We are 2/3 of the OnSight Media Group team. Shout out to Yehonathan Kenta, who is not on camera today or not in studio. He has some personal stuff to take care of, but we're going to hold it down in his absence. We got some interesting stuff to talk about today. Starting with Kash, you just put together a new, I'll call it a playlist. Yes, it says playlist. So the Heating Up the Streets playlist, SantrapVsEverybody. So before I kick it back to you and let you go into detail about this playlist, I'm just going to give the people the write-up of what this says on Apple Music right now. So it says the SantrapVsEverybody presents Heating Up the Streets playlist, filled with the hottest music coming out of Sanford, North Carolina and surrounding areas, curated by Domonic Kash. So this playlist is full of artists from our area. I see Deezy on here. We got Hustle on here. J.O. Pirelli is on the playlist. Young Heavyweight, Big Up, LLC Dom. And then you got artists that from outside of the city that are definitely trending, like Rio Bands, Felipe. Felipe is from the Sanford area, but he's not technically in North Carolina now. So we should still say he's a Santrap artist, but he's bigger than just our area. Shy from Detroit. Shout out to Shy from Detroit, man. She's doing big things in the Greensboro area, Triangle area.
Winston-Salem.
But you got a lot of people on this playlist. So first of all, why did you put together this playlist? And then talk about how you curated, how you came up with these particular tracks from these artists to put on this tape.
Heating Up the Streets. I came up with, initially I did the Welcome to the Trap.
Yep.
Mixtape 2021, which was supposed to be followed up with like a volume 2, but due to differences and just timing, like that didn't really come apart. So just certain artists that that I felt not necessarily obligated to, but I still wanted to give them a chance to push their music, help promote their music, because I got different people that were from the mixer that had won certain mixtape slots,
right,
and whatnot. And it was just because the differences came, I still didn't want to uphold what I was supposed to do. And I actually thought instead of doing a mixtape and putting it on mixtape platforms, push more towards a playlist where it's the artists can actually have their song on it, and if it's getting actually listened to, they can actually gain the money through the streams. So I push more to doing a playlist. I chose Heating Up the Streets, because I just wanted to focus on more than just the Sanford or the Santrap area. And there's so many artists that that's around the circuit that are actually out here really in motion. So and I feel they got a buzz in the streets.
Right.
So I feel the artists that I select on this, I feel they have great music. They're artists that people should look at, follow, listen to the playlist. So I basically chose these people to put on this list. And like I said, the list is unlimited. It's continually growing because, like I said, the list is updated, weekly. There's always new music coming out.
Right. And like I said, you got a wide range of talent, an eclectic range of sounds. Different. It's not just.
It's gonna be all different type of vibes. It's gonna be, it's gonna have your trap and your hip hop, of course. It's gonna be R&B, soul. It's a pop track on there. You know what I'm saying? It's not just stuck within that lane. It's just the hottest music that's coming from out of, the central North Carolina area.
Right.
So definitely, look out for that playlist. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, y'all tap in with the playlist, man. Go to Apple Music, download the playlist, share the playlist. This also helps these young artists, like he said, get exposure. And that kicks back to one of the reasons we actually started this entire media group was to help the younger artists that didn't necessarily have the resources and the finances to get their music on curated playlists, to get in front of the correct DJs, to get on the podcast, to get with the videographers, to get in the proper studios and or I don't want to say officially, but properly produce their music. Like, that was super important. So, continue, make sure y'all tap in with the playlist.
And there's always people saying that they're looking for new music to listen to,
That too. You put it together for them. Like, we don't have to go here. It's music that comes out. I think I heard years ago, it is 3,000 new artists that release music every year, and about 3% of those artists actually make it to where they're trending on social media. Their music actually makes it to the radio. So now that's huge. And like you got 4 hours.
It's 4 hours,
almost 5 hours worth of music, 95 songs. So that is an incredible range of music, and you can listen to it for like half of a normal work shift. That's major.
Yeah,
that's major. So shout out to you for doing that. So let's stick with the music, because I know I saw on Instagram, and I think I had a post pulled up right here. I don't know who originally posted it, but it's talking about the music industry and I think like streaming rights. So it's two guys in a conversation, and they're discussing who actually gets paid from Spotify streams or streaming rights and stuff like that. And if I remember correctly, the gentleman go in to say about the record industry, or the record labels make about $51 million. I gotta pull it right. $51 million a day from streaming, right? And then we look at some of these platforms like maybe a YouTube, and you got to get 1 million streams only gets you, I think, like $69 or something. I think Tidal is the highest paying stream platform. I think for 1 million streams on Tidal, you get like 1,200. And please don't quote me on these numbers, nobody, because I could be wrong. This information I'm paraphrasing from years ago. But again, so with the record labels ultimately controlling streaming rights, should an artist, or no, rephrase, how should an artist properly structure their music? Like, should they be so quick to run and put their music on a Tidal or an Apple Music or a Spotify? Or should they just continue to build their website through their social media? Or I said that wrong. Build their fan base, Build their fan base through their social media and their website, and then push traffic towards their music through something like their website, to where they can completely control the engagement, the traffic coming in, and they can fully monetize their art. What's your opinion on that?
I actually spoke on this about a year ago at an event, and when I spoke on it, telling like my opinion, some other known DJs or curators, basically they spoke against it. You know what I'm saying? I still stand on what I believe. I feel like in this day and time, being independent is really solely doing it on your own,
right?
And it's when we look at the numbers that you can see when it what an artist gets through streaming, and it's what a third of a cent per stream.
I think I seen something like two point something. Yeah,
third of a cent per stream. I was reading an article, and it was saying on average, artist that gets an artist has to get 3,000 streams for it to consider as an album sale.
Wow. Okay.
So how much is a typical album?
So if we go back in the day, like $10 to $15.
And then I was seeing where it says 800,000 streams, Spotify streams is basically a month. 800,000, you know, many local artists aren't even accomplishing
Right.
that. But it said that's only equivalent to a $15 an hour job.
Wow.
You know,
Okay.
but and it's like, well, what is the music really worth?
Right. I know.
And you know, if they're making all this money, you know, and it's like even on a large scale, these platforms, they make billions of dollars every year,
right.
and they only pay out hundreds of millions.
Right.
And this is including major artists.
That's what I was gonna mention. I do know I saw a post that said for a fan. So for me to stream my favorite artist, so I want to stream Outkast. For them to make $20, I need to stream their song about 15 to 20 times per day for an entire year for them to make $25 off of me and my streaming or listening to their music. So yeah, that's a lot. Like when it comes to the way the industry was years ago, and you know, pressing up your CDs, getting out here. If you didn't have distribution, so you wasn't signed to a label, like we was doing it in the early 2000s. You in the trunk of the car with it. I think it was like No Limit started like that. Like they had a lot of artists that did not even release singles or put out music videos, but they were so popular in their area, they were able to, you know, hand-to-hand commerce out straight out the trunk of their car, go to disc makers or go to your local print shop, print the joints up, get a graphic designer to put the cover on there, bam, put your music out. So definitely the game has changed, but I see it as I see the glass half full as well, because I feel like you want to put your music in as many areas that you can to make it accessible to help build your fan base. Now, in that regard, maybe you don't give them everything. I've always been a big believer in, even when we were recording music, if you're going to put out an album, you need to record about 3 times the amount of music that you're going to release. So for instance, if I want to put 10 songs on my album, then in reality, I need to record about 30 songs. And what this does is, I already have material for the next project when I find out what my fan base is actually receiving from me. So I already have material to start from, and I'm not starting completely over from scratch. And then 2, like, again, I have material that when I do buzz, now I can go back and release all of these other songs to help build my catalog. To just to grow my fan base and to continue to monetize my craft. So it's a gift and a curse, man, from my opinion. There is no right or wrong way for any artist. I think the ideal situation is if you can be like a La Russell. If anybody follows La Russell or listens to his music, like I found him on Instagram.
On Instagram too.
The first time I really went to his website, I thought it was brilliant, because it's like you can download any of his albums for any amount. You're basically making a donation, whether that is $1, whether that's $10,000, but you get to pick the amount. And of course, 100% of that amount goes directly to him, because he's not sending you to Apple Music, he's not sending you to Spotify, he's sending you to his website. But if you don't want to purchase his music, then he has his business set up to where you can also stream his music on Spotify and Apple Music, to where you can still engage with him as a fan. Eventually, he's still making money off of it. And then when you really tap into it and find out about him, you learn he started a clothing company and like a whole bunch of other stuff. So like really, it's not about the music. It's about the individual. It's about people, for lack of a better word, liking you. People really just engaging with you, identifying with who you are as a person, and then generally rocking with you. Like, that's how I see it, bro.
You know, I definitely, you know, feel in my opinion, if I was, operating in an artist mode, I'm basically gonna have, like, my own website. And always, Lil Russell was a great example, and I always like say like NBA YoungBoy.
Yep.
Whenever he releases his music, eventually his music gets on all the platforms.
Mm-hmm.
But before, it's released on strictly YouTube, and he directs all his traffic there. So it's like, I feel like that same strategic thing can be placed on a person going to like, your website. If they're going to your website, now if you got 800,000 streams
Mm-hmm.
or plays on your website where you got the option to buy, compared to if you had the streams, you're only gonna make what, maybe $3,000-$4,000. Don't quote me on the exact number, but somewhere in that range.
Right.
Compared to if people listen to your song 800,000 times and it's for sale on your website, what's the odds of it getting brought 10,000 times for $1?
I see what you're saying.
So now you went from the same energy, because you still gotta spend money into marketing and all that type of stuff, promotion, and you're doing whatever, whether you're doing it physically on hand or online, you're still spending money there. But now you take the chance of gaining more for the reward and owning your own music.
Mm-hmm.
By really just getting out there and doing it yourself. I feel like, and me, when I was an artist, I used to want to be signed. Like, I used to always dream of being signed to like either like G Unit or like Grand Hustle or something with like T.I.
Yeah, I think we all had, when we were all doing music, we all aspired to be signed to one of these major labels, because that was the way it was presented.
And I feel like now in the era that we're in with social media, all you got to do is the resources and everything is right there for a person really to be like their own record label.
Absolutely.
And it's about being willing to put in the work.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And
put in the work. I'm just gonna say double down, put in the work, and being persistent. A lot of artists that I do see that are dope, they don't accomplish the things they want to accomplish or make the money because they don't actually utilize the resources or put in the time.
I agree.
So
I agree 100% with that. And I just add to it, like you said, be consistent, continue to grow, continue to learn. Like, at the end of the day, it's a business. And ultimately what we're talking about and how you direct the traffic to one specific place in businesses is called a funnel. That's pretty much it. We want to make sure that whenever you see me and you click on the link that is associated with my art, my music, my videos, whatever it may be, that it's directing you to one specific path, whether that is Apple Music, whether that's a Spotify, whether that's a YouTube, whether that's your website. It's all basically, it's all a funnel. It's all driving traffic towards where you want it to go. And that is set up by design. So ultimately, like you said, just everybody continue to grow in business, learn the business overall, and don't look at anybody else's success. Don't look at another artist and where they are, even if they, like, y'all started from the same city, y'all started at the same time. Like, you don't know.
I got something I want to say
what that artist is doing. Go ahead with it.
One of the things that with my study of the game and looking back at a lot of successful artists that have made it, whether they're your Jay-Z, your 50 Cent, et cetera, the list go on. Majority of these people actually came up in a group. Like they didn't do it by themselves.
Yep.
And I think, a lot of the time, like, artists have, an ego to where it's just like, they're better than everybody else and they feel like they can do it by themselves. But I feel like, people got to be able to come together and be in a group, and everybody got to have a mindset that everybody's I'm gonna use Destiny's Child. Everybody Kelly Rowland. You know what I'm saying? Because you for the team, but somebody might be Beyonce.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It just might happen, but it's like that's the only way that you're actually gonna win. And it's like when you look at a lot of successful people, a lot of them were part of like major groups or teams.
Mm-hmm.
They had like a backing behind them, and the people that whenever that one person stepped forward, Jay-Z, everybody that was in Rockefeller, they knew that Jay-Z was that guy. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And nobody tried to overstep that, other than maybe Dame.
Same thing with like a we know how that situation is, but the same thing with like a Rough Rider.
Mm-hmm.
Like everybody knew when DMX came out of that camp, but he got signed to Def Jam and then was able to come back, and now we see the push of Rough Rider and Swiss taking off with the production, and then just the immense of talent, Drag On, Eve,
the Locks, and great example. I think most people always would consider like Jadakiss like one of the best rappers. Mm-hmm. I think he's in that talk. He's in that talk way more than DMX in that talk, even though DMX is a great rapper.
Right.
But even within that being said, while DMX was the front runner for Rough Riders, Jadakiss was in a group and was a better rapper, but he still played the position.
He played his position. Nah, great point, great perspective. Mm-hmm. Everybody has to know you got to start somewhere. Like you can't come into it with the big head. Everybody has to start somewhere. You got to crawl before you walk.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's it, bro. Like I don't even think it's too much more for this episode. And like I'm gonna leave him with this lasting comment because I did something pretty cool last night that I'll talk about that kind of I can tie back into really just staying consistent, locking in, pay attention to what you're doing. So if anybody that's followed my career, I've been on this media chase or the film career for the past 10 years. Like I've been professionally in it for the last 5. And I've gotten some traction, but of course I haven't make it to where I'm shooting, big budget Hollywood films or anything like that. But I've definitely been blessed to be able to feed my family solely off of, my contribution to art. So just staying locked in, staying humble, like I was blessed with the opportunity to create content for a church. And that ultimately led to me being in a room last night at a movie premiere. So there is a new movie called The Burial that stars Jamie Foxx and Tommy Lee Jones. And also, what's my chick name? Can't leave her out. Journey Smollett, if I said her last name right. So you got some heavy hitters in this film, right? But long story short, I don't meet Jamie. I don't meet Tommy Lee Jones. But I do meet the person that Jamie Foxx is portraying in the movie. Mm. He is an attorney by the name of Willie Gary. And make a long story short, the film is about a case that ultimately Mr. Gary doesn't want to take on, but ends up being one of the biggest cases of his career. He won this case, without spoiling the movie too much. He won this case, and for his client, he won $500 million. Mm-hmm. Right now, this is in the like mid 90s when it actually happens, but he's coming up during the civil rights era, and not slavery, but the wars and oppression and all of just bad stuff for African Americans. Mm-hmm. But he's still able to become an attorney, and not only become an established attorney, but able to win these high profile cases. Like he's won a case against Anheuser-Busch. He won a case against Walt Disney. Like the man they call him the giant killer. But again, because of me just staying consistent and not saying, oh, I have to make it shooting music videos. It has to be rap. It has to be urban media. Mm-hmm. And actually taking that chance and saying, you know what, I'm going to humble myself and go work for the church. Maybe this is where I need to be. That put me in position to be standing in this room to where by the end of the night, his public relations person handed me a card and was like, yo, call me tomorrow. We need some of that footage that you just shot. Let's get together, work out the details and all, right? So again, long story short, if you don't get out of your own way and just stay consistent and continue to grow and continue to place yourself in situations to where you can get opportunities like that and not overlook the signs that the universe is giving you, you'd be surprised what you can actually accomplish. You'd be surprised how far you can get it in whatever your field is, whatever you want to do. So that's my lasting comment, man. Just stay consistent, stay down. Don't give up, never give up. Don't quit, and keep going. And don't look at anybody else's dream, because they dream is they dream and your dream is yours. That's my lasting comment. What you got for him, Kash?
I don't know, man. I ain't even got nothing for y'all today, man.
He ain't got nothing for y'all today. So that's it.
Nah,
look, we ain't gonna hit you with the positivity every single day, but go ahead, give it.
Heat Up the Streets playlist, coming out. Look for it to drop within like the next 2 weeks. You know what I'm saying? I got a few more songs I'm gonna add to it. And just when that come out, just, you know what I'm saying, go check it out, support the artist.
Definitely support the artist, man. Definitely support the artist. And we appreciate y'all support for tapping in with us, continuing to watch the broadcast. Shout out to Spring Lane Studios for allowing us to use their studio while ours is in renovation. We definitely appreciate them. Check out some of these films too, because they actually do some pretty good work. As always, a sponsor of the OnSight podcast is Sense by Yaya. Started by my 14-year-old. She recently had a birthday. 14-year-old daughter who is aspiring to be a pilot. Tap in, buy some candles that smell absolutely amazing. 100% soy wax.
Blue
naturally.
Dream.
Oh yes, the Blue Dream candle. You see, Kash just put you on that. The Blue Dream candle. Smells amazing. But that's it. Y'all continue to rock. Stay in, stay down, and we'll catch y'all next time.